piece of sunshine. So I get for my feel for you, because I'm starting to think that it might just be my imagination. Don't own me, don't hate me, just because I love you it makes me feel warm, like a dip full of sunshine. Don't you will have something up running in the woods, so don't press that piece of sunshine. Sunshine. set me sunshine. Just because I love you, it makes me so warm, like a kitten full of sunshine. There's something ever running in the fields, so don't let set me sunshine. Just because I love you, it makes me so warm, like a kitten full of sunshine. There's something ever running in the fields, so don't let set me sunshine. So high, I get all my feel for you, because I'm starting to think that it might just be my emergency. Don't own me, don't hate me, just because I love you, it makes me feel warm, like a kitten full of sunshine. Don't you have something ever running in the fields, so don't let set me sunshine.
Hello, welcome to Wrestling Gold. OSW presents Wrestling Gold. It's our 6-year anniversary. Look at me in a championship belt, the only time I'm ever going to be in a championship belt. So I do have another video to play you in a minute, but we'll get to that in a second. I think we've got everyone in. Is everybody in? Is everybody happy? Got my laptop set up on the other side. Yeah, it's me. I set it up, so it's me that considers me a champ. Unfortunately, the camera's a little bit... Really, I want it to be there, don't I? That's not fuck it. I have a fiddle with it now. It's just going to go fuck. So, let's just... Oh no, that's not having it. Okay, maybe that's a little bit... No, I went the other way now, didn't it? Hey, thank you for the subscription, mate. Much appreciated, buddy. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm not gonna keep filling up here, aren't I? If everybody's ready, I'm gonna jump into the Wrestling Gold intro video. I made this one myself. It's my first go, so I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. It would help if I unmuted myself, wouldn't it? It's like Mike was saying, that the details in videos like that where it says Kirsch wants like Crow wants Kirsch dead, those sort of details add to it. I think Mike said that to me, so definitely do. Well, we got a show to get on with. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna save any big speeches and thank yous for what we've done so far to the end. I think that makes sense. Hey, Tommy's in. How you doing, Tommy? Who else we got? Lester's in. Awesome. Gray's here too. Obviously, if I mute it, it helps immensely, but can't help being dumb, can I? All right. So let's jump into this, shall we? I've got to be somehow a bit quiet and somehow get excited at the same time. So, okay, let's get a drink in me. Get this laptop of mine a little closer for comments and shit. I'm not really going to need my keyboard all that much. All right. Here we go. Wrestling Gold. How was that for a slice of fried gold? I'm sure Shaun of the Dead fans, Simon Pegg fans, Nick Frost will love a bit of that. Here we go. We are kicking things off with a segment involving Blood Money Incorporated and Devon Chambers called Gary Incorporated. Okay. In the shithole that is Gary, Indiana, Devon Chambers stands in the middle of a large open park. It looks like it hasn't been played in since the 90s, with decay and grime in every direction. Yeah, Marb's definitely hard right now. When a limousine pulls up and out steps Berkshire Ellison Green, Zero Albert Shaw, and CXDY, to say it looks out of place on these streets is somewhat an understatement. They cautiously approach Chambers in the middle of the park. What I'm looking to see is, because I've got a few surprises and things, I want to make sure that I'm not scrolling too far, so I'm trying to be a very sort of cautious scroller. They cautiously approach Chambers in the middle of the park. Why the hell would you want to meet here? Green says with a sneer of disgust. I feel as if I'm getting dirty just standing here. I need to do something important, Chambers says, his arms folded. I need you to fix the problem you created and release the butcher from his incarceration. Begg turns around to look at his crew, all of them bursting out into an eruption of laughter. Green takes off his glasses, shaking his head. Zero, meanwhile, steps in. I've heard you're a Christian man. I suppose that's what gave you those giant grapefruits, huh? Who do you think you are to summon Blood Money Incorporated to this shithole and make demands? I ought to bitch slap the black off you, boy. Green pulls Zero back and takes over. You must have known our answer, he asks earnestly. The butcher was responsible for the death of Tyler Brooks. He treated us like lambs to his slaughter for long enough, and now we're taking over old school wrestling. Chambers shakes his head and begins to pace. You don't understand the severity of this situation, do you? It hasn't affected Gary, but New York City is going to become a war zone. It's only a matter of time before that war destroys Earth. I need the butcher to help me fix it. Green looks at Cody, who looks at Albie, and then at Zero. I'm sorry, Begg says with a shrug, but that's not our problem. He turns to walk away, but something stops him. They're no longer alone. It doesn't matter which way they turn, they're abruptly stopped by hundreds of Junkrats. That's the pop moment, right? Come on, we got some Junkrats. There we go. Good day, mate. Junkrat says to Green. Fancy coming to the middle of whoop whoop. It's been a while, ain't it? I'm going to stop with the accents right now, but I can't help it. They're gulps. I couldn't take the chance that you say no, Devon says. Thanks for coming, Mayor Junkrat. I appreciate you bringing your support too. No drama, big boy. There's no need to cry about it, you dingo, Junkrat says with a big smile. I couldn't pass up the chance to see this cunt and tell him to rack off. The fuck did you say, kangaroo? Albie says with a grimace. He steps forward with his fists clenched. How about you hop, skip, and get yourself knocked the fuck out? Suddenly, he has about a gazillion guns pointed at him. And he gulps. You fucking limeys with your big old bollocks. How about a little target practice for my rats? Junkie says with a chuckle. I reckon they could shoot your tiny pecker off at 10 paces. You're definitely overcompensating for that tiny willy, mate. Look at those arms. You look like an advert for fucking steroids. Green pulls him back into line with the group. And you, Junkrat says, turning his attention to Cody. Grow old gracefully, you cunt. You're like a walking penis extension with your fake tan and leather jacket. I suppose you spend every night suffocating his big old titties. He the broad to your fancy sports car? Blood Money Inc. look less impressed as Beg once again addresses Devon. So, this is how it's going to be, Chambers, Green asks with a shake of his head. Do you really want to make an enemy out of us? You're unreasonable and you don't understand. This isn't about you or I, it's about the world. If you want to fight, then we'll have one, but right now, there's more important things to worry about. Berkshire looks towards Zero with a nod. Release him, he says with disdain. Zero's eyes sort of glaze over as he works his internet magic using his head and visor. Cody can't stand to look at it, turning away and pacing enraged. Albie tries to comfort him. Don't worry, mate, we'll get him on the outside. Zero finally stops. It's done. The papers are filed. The butcher will be out in a couple of days. Green turns to Devon and looks him angrily in the eyes. There, you have what you wanted, he sneers. Now let us leave this dump. Hey! Junkrat yells, clearly not impressed with that. Devon shares a nod with a disgruntled Junkrat who circles a hand above his head. All right, rats, let the pussy holes through and try not to fuck 'em. Blood Money Inc. carefully walks through the Junkrats to their limousine, hopping inside and speeding off as quickly as they can. Meanwhile, Chambers is left with Junkrat, who slaps an arm around his shoulders. Fancy a Barbie, mate? And we cut. I wrote it, and I'm laughing as I say it. I don't know how good. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. But I got. Sorry, Zach. I probably should have said. I definitely couldn't carry on with the accent, mate. I love the accent, but I couldn't carry on with the accent, man. It couldn't happen. No salute. Junkrat, the star of the show already. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let's move my ass over this way a little bit. All right. Moving on to another segment now. This one's titled Divide, and we see Bishop, Sweet Alice, Banzan, and Pyre. Banzan is sitting in a field. He is deep in meditation today. Hey, Banzan, Bishop says normally, but Banzan doesn't respond. Bishop shrugs, thinking Banzan can't hear him. He shouts to make up for it. Hey, Banzan! Still no answer. He is fully immersed. Bishop pulls out his phone. He begins to play the recording from last week, with just the girl screaming in agony. That snapped Banzan out of it. He stands up and quickly turns around. You still can't hear that and not think of Alice, can you? What do you want? You say I'm a monster, yet you burn an innocent. I didn't burn her. Pyre did. I never called her a saint. Sometimes it takes a monster to kill a monster. You didn't answer my question. What do you want? Oh, nothing really. I actually miss our old talk sometimes. For a monster, you do dispense wisdom, so give me some. We both know that's not true. See, you are wise. No, the real reason I'm here is to distract you. I know you meditate to reach out to her subconsciously. You two have become connected now, and I want you two to be apart as long as possible. Speaking of two who are often together, where is Pyre? Where do you think she is? We showed you how easy it is to catch Alice, and by now, she probably has. Bishop cockily smiles. Thud. Banzan headbutts Bishop. Don't bother getting up, he says. And then he marches away. Where are you going? Where do you think? It takes a monster to kill a monster. And we cut. Beautiful. Ooh. It's heating up. It's definitely heating up. Six years, yeah, it's been a long time, Dino. A long time. You think, Hayden, Mike, Zach. Christ, I don't want to forget anybody, but those three especially have been here since the very first show, all that time ago. There's still a lot of people here that were around, like Alex, of course. He was not here maybe for a year or two. But there's a lot of people that have been here since the start that are still here now. So, yeah. I like the ending line of that too, to be honest. Jason, I think that's a good line. We move into our first match of the evening, guys. It's the Tag Team Championships. It's Monty Straight and Red Wing. They have no tag team name. They are not even friends. They're taking on Albert Shaw and CXDY of Blood Money Incorporated. With a tag team gold on the line, Red Wing and Monty Straight hope there is a championship reign that never ends. With Blood Money Incorporated's Cody and Albert Shaw in the opposite corner, the champs have their work cut out for them. The bell sounds and Molly Straight and Albert Shaw kick things off here. Straight wants to lock up with the governor, but Shaw isn't much interested, jabbing the game show host with a hard right fist to the teeth. Another jab and another. Albert whips straight into the ropes with a big-time lariat, turns straight inside out. Shaw doesn't waste any time, and he lays some big boots into Monty's ribs as Straight struggles to get back to his feet. Finally, Monty catches one of Shaw's boots. Shaw hopping on one foot, exposed, the big man bouncing around the ring like a gorilla, and Straight is straight up to take advantage. He swipes Shaw's free leg out from underneath him, drops the gunner onto his back, and Monty drops an elbow into the inside of Shaw's thigh and transitions into a leg lock. The excruciating leg lock has Shaw begging for a way out of this predicament. He cries, tries to use his elbows to crawl towards the ropes, but it's no use. Monty has the leg lock established so effectively, Shaw has no choice. He's going to have to tap out. But no, Cody with a boot straight to Straight's back. I keep having to say straight to straight. That's me adding words. Red Wing jumps into the ring to even things up, but the referee orders him out. Cody takes full advantage of Red Wing's protests and just starts choking the living shit out of Monty. Red Wing screams that Cody is choking him, but the referee won't turn around until the Red Knight steps back onto the apron. And that's some dirty play by Blood Money Incorporated, which is exactly what you'd expect. Finally, Red Wing steps back onto the apron. By the time the referee turns around, Cody's back in his own corner, apparently innocent, having done nothing at all. Shaw lifts the recently strangled game show host back to his feet, and he sets him up for a massive power slam. And here we are with our first, but not last, beautiful image of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Shaw with a cracking power slam on Monty Straight under the gold and blue lights of Wrestling Gold. Monty has been absolutely crushed by the power slam, so Shaw makes the cover. 1, 2, 3, no. A kick out by Monty with just a millisecond to spare. Albert stands to his feet, reaches down and grabs a fistful of Monty's hair. But a low blow by Monty Straight, and that evens the odds for Shaw. Straight is back up to his feet, a spinning, inverted headlock clothesline into the crossface submission. That's the terms and conditions. And once again, Albert Shaw finds himself in a near inescapable submission hold. There's nowhere to go. There's absolutely nowhere for Shaw to go. He taps. Monty Straight has won this match for his team, but the bell isn't ringing. Albert Shaw is tapping out, but nothing is happening. Oh, god damn it. Cody has the referee distracted, acting an absolute fool in his corner as though he's trying to interfere in the match. Monty releases the hold. He stands up, charges the corner. Straight knocks Cody off the apron with a drop kick, and Cody flies off the apron and in to the guardrail. Monty picks Shaw up and whips him into his own corner and delivers a big splash. Monty tags in Red Wing, and Red Wing finally springboards into the ring using the top rope for leverage. He quickly starts laying boots into Shaw's guts. Thumb to the eye by Shaw gives him enough time to escape and charge across the ring, making the hot tag to Cody. Cody quickly steps into the ring and charges towards Red Wing. Moonsault dropkick from Red Wing sends Cody hurtling backwards. Red Wing is quickly back to his feet. He sends a boot into Cody's gut. Double underhook DDT, return to Arkham. He's not done either. Boom. There we have it with the Red Wing stomp. I don't think... Yep, the return to Arkham. He's not done, even though there's no name for it there, but there you go. The Dark Knight then scoops Cody off the canvas after the stomp, and then hits a brainbuster to Red Wing's knee, which is Red Justice, and that has to be it. He makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. No, somehow, some way, Cody kicked out. Red Wing pounds him out of frustration. He stands to his feet and he looks to the turnbuckle. The Red Knight decides that he will, in fact, take flight. He steps out onto the apron and climbs up to the top. He signals to the crowd that a high-risk maneuver is coming. The crowd pops loudly, but goddammit, Albert Shaw somehow shoves Red Wing off the top turnbuckle and to the outside of the ring, and his body collides into the turnbuckles. The crowd angrily loses their minds. Cody is back to his feet. He sees Red Wing outside the ring. He bounces off the rope and charges across. But God's gift to professional wrestling hits a corkscrew suicide dive outside the ring and takes Red Wing down. Both men lay on the floor after that big-time, high-risk maneuver. But Albert Shaw is already at work, pulling Cody up to his feet and pushing him back into the ring. There's no rest for the wicked. Shaw starts laying boots into Red Wing's fallen body, making sure that he stays outside the ring. But a running Yakuza kick from Monty Straight takes Shaw down, and the crowd pop. They love it. Monty helps Red Wing up to his feet, gets him back into the ring, but Red Wing and Cody are slowly climbing to their feet now. The crowd is growing to a fever pitch. There's a sense that we've reached the final stretch here, and whoever comes out on top in the next moment of this match is going to walk away with the tag team gold. But the fans want their favourite game show host and their favourite hero to pull this out. So, Red Wing, no doubt thanks to the crowd, reaches his feet moments later before Cody and nails Cody with a big right hand. Another big right, another, but Cody ducks the final right hand. He kicks Red Wing right in his family jewels. Single, underhook, lifted brainbuster, DDT. Perfect ending from Cody. He makes the cover. 1, 2, 3, and new tag team champions Cody and Albert Shaw, through conniving and teamwork in varying degrees, have dethroned the tag team champs and picked up the gold for Blood Money Incorporated. And there it is, winner and new tag team champions, Blood Money Inc. I think the match writer might want to take note that Monty Straight is a devious heel after killing Reaper's family, and there will be no cheering for Monty Straight in the match, just so you guys know. That's why I sort of moved on. To say Monty Straight is hated is probably an understatement of the highest order, to be fair. Very good match other than that, though. And we have something else now. Hello, welcome to the Old School Rewind. We're celebrating 6 years of old school wrestling, and as a part of that, we're heading back in time to some of the most popular matches we've had. Unfortunately, these are just highlights. The matches will be way too long for this show, but we are heading back now to when David Manson fought Eli Forever in a death match at Ring of Dreams 5 on July 15th, 2019. I'm going to read through this. Please do bear in mind that these are highlights, so I've had to cut these down considerably to get the matches in. But Eli Forever and his followers are here. They are foaming at the mouth, ready to start this match, but Manson is nowhere to be seen. Eli shouts, "Where the fuck is he?" He looks at his followers and Siebes, "Go find him." The followers scatter, looking around the tap room for any sign of Manson. But a familiar voice is heard over the speakers. "Up here, Bubba." Manson is up in the rafters, and he has Rose in his grasp. She's screaming, and one of Manson's followers walks in the ring. He asks, "Looking for this?" He says, dangling Rose's ear in front of Eli. Now, you guys must remember that these two were in a blood feud. It got gnarly. It got violent. If you want to see this full match, head to Ring of Dreams 5 in the archives, in the old tapes, and you can read it in full. Manson screams, "You can stitch it to her corpse," before slitting her throat. He throws Rose over the rafter, and she hits the ring post with a deadening thud. Rose is dead. Eli, absolutely enraged, he stabs Manson's follower in the stomach over and over. There's a pool of blood in the ring, and Eli is climbing the stairs to get to the rafters. However, another voice is heard on the speakers. "Leave him to me, brother." Judah is up there on the rafters now. Judah is Eli Forever's brother. He spears Manson off the rafters. Eli's followers sacrifice their lives to save Judah to break the fall. Manson and Judah are buried under the corpses of Forever's followers, and we don't see any movement. Manson sticks his head out of the pile, and he's breathing heavy. He almost drowned under the pile of bodies, and Judah scurries out from the bottom. Judah and Manson are throwing heavy rights at each other. Eli has seen enough, and he charges into the fray. Judah and Eli, the two brothers, double-team Manson, hit a double suplex onto the floor. Manson looks out of it, and Judah pulls Manson up and holds him from behind. "Kill him for our family, Eli. Kill him for our mother. Kill him for Rose, who was their sister." Eli charges at Manson with a knife. One of Manson's followers, though, tackles Manson out of Judah's grasp to save him. Eli couldn't stop in time, and he stabs Judah right in the heart. Eli stabs his own brother. This is the blood feud, guy. This built up for so many months, if not even a year, to this point of death. This is all this match is about. This is one of the most brutal matches in OSW history. Manson laughs and says it's going to be a family reunion in hell tonight, Bubba, but Forever levels him with a clothesline. He jumps on top of him, hitting him hammer fist after hammer fist, and one of Manson's followers jumps from the top rope and hits a frog splash on Eli. It gets Eli off Manson, but Eli is up quickly and throws the book of Eli like a frisbee. The book hits the back of the head of the follower and knocks him out cold. Eli draws his knife and slices the follower from neck to waist like a dissection, with blood gushing everywhere. Welcome to Manson Street. Manson hits the running neck breaker whilst Eli had his back turned, and Manson's followers drag Eli to the bar. They lie him on a nearby table and tie him to it. Manson grabs multiple bottles from the bar, and it's finally time to drown Eli. A follower opens Eli's mouth wide. Manson pours the liquor one by one down his throat, and Eli looks like he's about to choke. But one of Eli's followers pushes the table over, forcing Manson to fall to the floor. The follower cuts him free from the table and charges after Manson. Manson kicks a knife out of the follower's hand and catches it in midair, stabbing him in the eye. "Leave this to men, kid," he says, hitting a bulldog on the follower right into the bar, driving the knife deep into his skull, and the follower, he's another dead body for the list. On the other side of the bar, Forever spits the alcohol still in his mouth into the follower that forced his mouth open in the first place. It was Everclear. Forever lights a match and tosses it at the follower covered in alcohol, and he goes up in flames. Forever turns the march towards Manson. Codebreaker. Manson hits the codebreaker and drags Forever to the ring. Ding ding, the match has finally started. Here comes the horror show. Manson hits the package pile driver and covers. 1, 2, but no. Manson thought he won it. He's celebrating. He's all alone, but Forever's foot is on the ropes. Manson doesn't realize it, and Forever gets up quickly and grabs him, hitting the Eternal River Plunge. It's a double underhook power slam, and he covers. 1, 2, 3. That is the end of this war. Eli Forever defeats David Manson, but what you don't see is the segment that follows, in which both men kill each other. Now, if you're new to OSW and all this death thing is crazy to you, and you've just heard me read this match and you think, dude, this is fucking stupid, this is crazy. Getting to this point where these guys hated each other enough to do this, to kill each other and other people and die and leave it all in the ring, and that, in this insanity, to get to this point, they had to go through months and months of story of some real gnarly shit to get here. So it's not, it's not as crazy as it seems if you've been through the battles they've had to get to this point. This was the end, this was the end of a war and the end of a volume, I believe, or pretty much close to it, in which you'd be very surprised to know, or you wouldn't be surprised to know, both of these guys did, I believe, kill each other in the segment that followed. Moving on, I'm going to have to take a drink after that. That's our first old school rewind. It's safe to say that match-wise, I don't think anything gets as crazy as this in latter parts of the show. We definitely started with an insane one. This is a segment called Game Master, featuring the Forever Friends, and the boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. I can't sing. There you go. 10 years ago. These young kids are excitedly talking at the kitchen table. What do you think Dewey is going to have in store for us today, guys? I don't know, Chunk. I just hope I get to use some magic today. You will, Miles. You always find a way to try. What about you, B? It doesn't matter. We're going to beat them either way. We're the good guys. We're the Americans. We don't lose. Showman Dewey makes his way from the basement where he has planned their D&D session. Did you guys wind up B again? Buddy, you're not Americans in this game. Chunk is a suave bard from a mysterious region. Miles is a half-elf sorcerer. You, as always, are a human warrior from the West. B, who, by this account, is definitely Ultimo America, raises his hand. No, not the United States. Dang it. Well, do we at least get to play now? Showman grins and pats B on the back. Yeah, come on down, I changed the setup. Miles, Chunk and B open their eyes wide and they rush down the stairs. This is awesome. All three boys yell as Dewey designed a special spot for each of them. Chunky has a recliner, the best assortment of snacks a kid can buy. Miles has an office chair and a table with magic cards and different spellbooks. Fog emanates from behind him. B gets a miniature command center of toy soldiers and military maps. Dewey has the best setup with a new state-of-the-art desktop his parents got him and a new projector pointed to the wall to show the guys what they're fighting. You really outdid yourself, Dewey. Thanks, guys. I'm just really happy to have friends like you. We're happy to have you, Dewey, or should we say, Game Master? Yeah, let's do this. The boys rush to their seats, and Dewey begins to speak. You all meet at the tavern. We see the boys inch at the edge of their seat, and a montage of them playing together begins, all laughing and joking around. Dewey is telling them about the great monster he designed. Chunk is trying to seduce it. He's almost successful when B decides to swing a sword at it. The monsters attack, but Miles uses Charm Monster after and tells B not to swing again. The monster is friendly to them and they use its help to defeat a bigger monster terrorizing their village, and the boys have saved the day. Congratulations, guys. Great use of Charm Monster there, Miles. All of you go up a level. Yay, I can't wait until we're old enough to be heroes like that. Me either. But we need a cool team name like the Avengers or X-Men. How about Forever Friends? I like it, Chunk. How about you, B? I really like it. How about you, Dewey? You're Professor X, our Iron Man. You get the final say. Guys, I love it. Forever Friends? He sticks a fist out. The rest join their fists together and raise it to the sky. Forever Friends! Boys, settle down. It's time for dinner. The newly formed Forever Friends grimace and rush up the stairs. And we cut. That's a beautiful segment there, guys. So, a very nice way of looking back at who the Forever Friends are and how they've come together, because I think we've had them fighting now. We understand they're underdogs, but we've never really gotten to see these guys, how they became friends and who they really are. This segment adds so much cool backstory to the characters. We now have a greater deal of knowledge about them, which I think is pretty awesome. We are into another segment now called Intermittent. It's Voynich and Zero. Mike Lane said, I think, somewhere this week that he's not going to call him 010, and I'm kind of the agreement. I think Zero is a pretty cool name. I'm probably just going to go with Zero myself. Somewhere else. The hills that overlook the city give a gut-wrenching seriousness to our backdrop, as buildings burn and crumble and smoke rises from the carnage of the battle below. Even here, in the elevation, the carnage is strewn. And it is here that we find Zero, standing at the base of a wrecked cell phone tower. Remember, guys, there's still a war in New York City. There's still a war on Earth. That's okay, Dino. I didn't notice, buddy. He sifts through the chunks of bent and broken metal, searching for whatever he can salvage in this mess, though with each moment he appears more and more frustrated. Not so cocky without your screens to hide behind, are you? A voice calls out. Have been observing him from his own vantage point for quite some time now. Voynich steps forward, the smouldering smoke of a wrecked signal station behind him. Zero tenses up. You don't know what I'm still capable of. Voynich smiles. I can see it in your eyes. The plan's going to waste. Hard to get a good connection when there's no tower to ping off now, isn't it? No connection means whatever you have planned for the butcher next doesn't look like it's happening anytime too soon. Zero stands, pocketing a small device as he does so. And I can see it in your eyes. You're afraid. Afraid of this war. Afraid of things not being in your control. Voynich cuts him off. We're all afraid. Don't kid yourself. The difference is, I'm used to using old technology, doing things the manual way. You, on the other hand, have learned to adapt to a world where computers allow you to dig so much deeper into people than you otherwise could. This war has cut you off at the knees. I'm just planning on finishing the job. Zero eyeballs Voynich. There's nothing to be said, for there is truth in Voynich's words. The city has been a dead spot since the war broke out, but there is zero quit in him. And his fist balled, he stands toe-to-toe with his foe. Behind the keyboard or in the ring, send your worst, and we'll see where sleeping dogs lie. Here we are, the old school rewind. We're now taking you back to Enter the Badlands on October 8th, 2017, when Edward Newton faced off against the then OSW champion, the Scarecrow. Edward Newton being undefeated as he headed into this match. Will he pick up the title or will the Scarecrow retain? Remember, this match once again is highlights, so there may be points where things chop and change a little. It may not be a straight flow, but if you want to read this match in all its glory, please do head to the the old tape section under television on the website, and you will find Enter the Badlands in there. Edward Newton's eyes grow wide as the Hayman has just seemingly materialized inside the ring. Newton points a finger forward as his two associates leap towards him. Hysteria swings with a bat, but Scarecrow just ducks underneath. No Face slices with his knife, but it's Scarecrow who just bends backwards to avoid it, nailing a haymaker to Edward Newton as he's sent back into the ropes. As the bell sounds and the two stands off, the referee motions for the bell. The Hayman walks towards the center of the ring and motions for Newton to join him. Newton steps forward, peering through his shattered spectacles. It may be due to this that he catches Grow off guard with a taser. Scarecrow begins shaking violently as Hysteria and No Face grab his legs and drag him out of the ring, but he flutters, and the lights go out. Crash. When the lights return, both Hysteria and No Face are laying in a heap of broken wood. Scarecrow is standing tall, and his head slowly turns to face Edward Newton. He pulls brass knuckles from his hand and throws them aside before lifting up the bat and thwack another vicious shot to the ribs as the Scarecrow falls to the mat. The game plan involves those ribs, and Edward Newton seems to have this match in control now. Another vicious shot to the ribs, but an uppercut from the ground by the Scarecrow brings him back into the action, and he staggers Newton with another quick shot before getting back to his feet. The Hayman begins drilling with left and rights in quick fashion. Haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. Newton falls to his knees, and it's at this point the Scarecrow pulls his head between his legs and lifts him up in a crucifix position for the perch. When the lights go out and return, we only expect to see Newton laid out, and we do, and he covers 1, 2, 3, but no, Newton somehow kicked out of a move that nobody kicks out of at the very last second. He turns back to Newton, who has a finger up, and kick to the note. Scarecrow closes his knees together and catches his foot between his legs. Newton is hopping on one foot, and Hayman hits the last straw. It connects this time as Newton howls in pain through his shattered glasses. The Scarecrow yanks him closer and lifts him up, looking for the bye-bye birdie, but 3 kicks to the ribs for Scarecrow to drop him, and that's when Newton hits the Nevermind, the implant DDT for the 3, and Edward Newton, the now undefeated OSW champion. Yeah, man, this was the beginning of a near 2-year reign as OSW champion, and a near 2-year reign undefeated as well. Did you, Tommy? You named it? Because I remember naming it after the TV show of the same name. Sure I did. Because I used to watch Enter the Badlands. I think it was on AMC, I think it was. But yeah, so that is Edward Newton's biggest, that was his big moment then. He'd been working his way up. I think he was 24 or something before he got there. Was a huge win. Yeah, it was a huge win. We don't talk about that, Zach. We're now moving on to a segment with Beg and Darby Sorrow called Isosceles. I believe I said that right. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Somewhere else, the streets of New York have changed of late. Where once traffic crawled, cars and streets lie abandoned. The business district looks deserted, with skirmishes breaking out throughout the city. It leaves a person whose fortune lies in the running of those districts somewhat vulnerable, or so it would seem. Beg, however, appears anything but vulnerable. Still dressed in his finest suit, he stands in an alley behind one of the towering buildings that he owns. Away from the fighting that creates the ambience of the once bustling city, Berkshire is busy meeting with a variety of powerful-looking people, voices hushed and secretive. It doesn't matter if your assets aren't liquid, When nothing is liquid, everything is. Beg's voice begins to carry as he urges the fat cats to back whatever plan he has thought up lately. These are trying times, but in trying times, it is the risk takers who come out smiling. Play it safe and you're going to lose everything. His words cause a fair amount of murmuring, but another thought cannot be placed as they are soon cut off from a voice from above. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Splat! A body dressed in a fine suit, just as fine as Beg's, lands face down at Berkshire's feet. Dead. Still, having fallen from a window some 10 stories above. Naturally, the men at Beg's meeting are shocked, but even more so when one of them recognises the body. It's Davidson. In the uproar, neither have noticed that they had been joined by another. The voice who interrupted them in the first place sounds again, within their circle this time. Yes, found Mr. Davidson swinging from the rafters in his penthouse office. Beg, this could just as easily have been you. Poor Mr. Davidson, this war cost him every penny he ever built for himself. Darby saw his cocky smirk punctuates the sentiment. Beg steps over the dead body to draw himself face to face with sorrow, but he doesn't have so much as a chance to open his mouth before sorrow cuts him off. You see, Blood Money Inc. as a tight-knit little trio, an equilateral triangle, where you have each other's backs. But in reality, everything lives and dies with you, Beg. Sorrow draws the shape of a triangle with a single point at the top in the air. Your triangle is much more isosceles, and while that might give you strength, as Zero and Cody follow your wheel like good little puppies, where does that leave them when the money funding your little soiree runs out? He nears himself right into Beg's face. Where does that leave you? High and mighty, money man, like Davidson here, left with no other option? Allow me to put you out of your misery. He mum's a gun pointed at Beg's head and pulls the imaginary trigger before fading back into the night, leaving the fat cats to pick up the pieces of their counterpart who still lies at their feet. And we cut. Pegs Beg. Beg's getting a good pegging. Well, guys, we're about 40 odd minutes into the show now. It's been a very Blood Money Incorporated heavy opening, hasn't it? Between them heading to Gary, Indiana, the tag team championship win. Congratulations to Cody and Shaw for that. We're very close to an hour, and we've only had one main match of our 5 in the show. And that's not changing just yet, because we are heading into another segment called Simon Says. We have Simon and we have the Viper. Let's have a read of this bad boy, shall we? Viper Roberts slithers through the halls with an intensity that matches his unbridled fury. He seeks one man and one man alone. A crowd of people stand nearby, a small crowd, but nonetheless, they too are there for one man, Viper Roberts. They desire only to touch him, to speak to him, to wash his feet with their dirty hair. Viper, they scream, Viper, I love you, please, Viper, just shake my hand. He cuts through the crowd of those who love him so dearly like a razor-sharp knife. He knows the difference between rats and snakes. His eyes never find theirs. Their hands may never touch his shoulders. They may never brush his form, but he doesn't even acknowledge them. Instead, he simply slinks down a corridor and twists the doorknob to a locker room. The door creaks open, but no one is there. Viper curls his upper lip, and he looks around. Reveal yourself, Simon. Nothing. Reveal yourself to me, he demands. Were they the magic words? An open sesame, perhaps? Are Viper Roberts' words just that powerful, or is Simon just that calculated? It matters not, for a locker door swings open, and inside the locker, Viper sees quite the interesting object. A snakeskin box. He carefully approaches the locker. He checks over his shoulder just in case there's another surprise chair shot, but no one is there. He slides his hands over the snakeskin box, feels it. Authentic, fresh skin. Roberts opens the box and finds a cassette and a tape player. The label on the cassette reads, Simon Says. An inquisitive eyebrow raises on Roberts' visage, as we head to a cut. We will have to wait and see what is played on the tape then, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get to such a thing, before that happens, we have a barn burner for y'all. Hopefully we find out later on in the evening or next week what happens with that. But we're now heading to a battle royale with cheese for the Rewind Championship. Mr. Andy has a very difficult task of defending his Rewind Championship against Dark Lord, Devon Chambers, Ultimo America, Leah Lincoln, Jesse Williams, Two-Face, The Judge, The Reaper, Death Note, and Shooter Landau. Here we go, folks. Let's see what we got. There will be no rewinds in this over-the-top battle royal as 10 challengers step up to the plate. 10 pairs of eyes rest on Mr. Andy, the reigning, defending Rewind champion who raises his fists. The bell sounds and Shooter Landau makes a beeline for the toy maker. He wants that championship bonus at the pay window. Two-Face flips his coin following suit and he briefly defends himself, but the two overpower him, mugging him in the corner. The Reaper tears into the Judge. His rage backs Order into the ropes as he punches his knuckles raw against his metallic armor. Jesse Williams and Ultimo America stand shoulder to shoulder against Dark Lord. They bum rush the God King with American-made steel. Sensing Leah Lincoln's sins, Devon Chambers exercises her demons. Checking his little black book, Death Note looks to drain the witch's swamp. Too, is that a euphemism? Who knows? Bodies are suspended over the ropes as competitors hold on for dear life, vying for the Rewind title. Dark Lord toys with his food. The Prince and the American Dream run tandem on him until he pie-faces them, cracking their skulls together. The fans groan at the sickening sound. Witnessing this, Devon shakes his head at the unholy warlord. The bishop removes his tunic belt and pulls it tight. He charges at Dark Lord. Kneel, no. Devon ducks the Sparta kick, climbing onto the middle turnbuckle. He wraps his belt around Dark Lord's throat. He jumps down, hoping the leverage will let him heave Dark Lord onto his back. The belt of truth? Perhaps he can't lift the 500-pound gladiator. Ultimo and Jesse grab his legs to a big pop. Together, they might just do it. Kneel, bitch. Sparta kick to Williams. Warlord's hand chokeslam to America's son. Pulling Chambers' own belt, Dark Lord hoists that big old son of a bitch up into a torture rack. He walks to the ropes, pile driver, event horizon to the outside. The audience gaps and Devon Chambers has been eliminated. The righteous man asks the Lord of Light for forgiveness. Meanwhile, Shooter breaks the champion in half with a double-A spine buster, and there he is. Look at that image. Shooter Landau driving Mr. Andy into the canvas with a fucking spine buster. Two-Face, however, turns on the last carny. He introduces him to Lady Luck, the Joker driver. Elsewhere, Judge's teeth draw blood from Reaper. Cutter, your past may bite you, and across the ring, Death Note is gonna make Leah go to sleep. The author of death carries her to the ropes. Gather thy soul. Lincoln drops onto the turnbuckle. She snatches his head and jumps off. Tornado reverse DDT. That's called the voodoo drop. The Swamp Witch drops Death Note, then get back to her feet. She turns to see Death Note once again getting back to his. She ducks a clothesline. Springboard Yakuza kick. Death Note is drowning in fire, and there's our second image in the match with Leah Lincoln off the ropes and into a Yakuza kick. She pops back up to see the Karthik Incarnate standing by the ropes. Leah runs at him. He kicks her in the gut, then lifts her onto his shoulders. Spinning powerbomb over the ropes. Black hole to the fucking floor. The crowd winces, and Leah Lincoln has been eliminated. The Swamp Witch with this beautiful move to Death Note. Unfortunately, her affinity with the dark arts wasn't dark enough tonight. That's 2 for 2. You're right. For Dark Lord, the Two-Face, guns for Ultimo, whose patriotism sickens the former politician. He chokes the rookie in the ropes. Judge and Reaper continue to wage a war of their own. The Harvester avoids sentencing, ducking the verdict Sparta kick. Judge wheels around, Samoan drop, Justice sporting a crimson mask. Reaper mounts his nemesis, unloading with right hands. Hey, knucklehead, mine's bigger than yours. Reaper looks up. A smirking Jesse Williams polishes his boomstick, and a standoff ensues. They clash antlers, shotgun blast, boomstick. No, one Superman pan. Sorry. 2 seconds. One Superman punch bests the other as Reaper staggers back into Judge. Restoration powerbomb over the top rope. And the Reaper has been eliminated by his nemesis, the Judge. Mr. Andy, meanwhile, gores Jesse, spinebuster, superfine turbine blast. The champion reminds us what brought him to the dance. He scoops Williams onto his shoulders. He spins round and round. A cutter onto the top rope. The big wheel sends Jesse to the floor, and Jesse Williams has unfortunately been eliminated. The Prince won't be answering the call of the Chosen tonight. Two-Face, meanwhile, drapes his leg over Ultimo's neck. Overdrive, flip the coin before he can capitalize. Death Note spins him around. Sister Abigail, turn the page. Two-Face blocks it. He pulls Death Note into his own Sister Abigail. Heads or tails? Death Note sandbags it. The two jockey back and forth with their dueling finishes. Ultimo is up. He grabs the legs of Two-Face. The rookie dunks him over the top rope, and a huge pop for the underdog as Two-Face has been eliminated. It was a coin toss, but it wasn't the result that Two-Face wanted. He flips out, tearing back into the ring apron and kicking the steel stairs. He's going mad on the outside of the ring. Mr. America gets caught up in the moment until a shadow eclipses him. He turns around, hand around the throat by Dark Lord. Death Note makes a save. Denied. He gets a second hand around his throat too. And here comes Shooter. No, Neil. The Sparta kick flattens Landau as he runs at him. And Warlord's hands. Double choke slam. Death Note and Ultimo America down on the canvas. Mr. Andy comes in from behind to a pop. He grabs the headlock and hits the ropes. Catastrophic. Collider. Not even saying it. Dark Lord slips out of the Bulldog. King's grasp. He puts the champion away with a rear naked choke. Andy, Death Note, Ultimo and Shooter all lie at Dark Lord's feet. Who will stop the God King? Enter the Judge. The two behemoths stare each other down to an ovation. 6'9", 380 pounds, 7'4", 500 pounds. They collide like train cars. The audience boos and yeas with each seismic blow. Hand around the throat. Warlords, nope. Judge breaks his grip. They step back. Verdict, Neil, double spider kick. They both stumble back. Andy, Death Note, Ultimo, and Shooter pile on to Dark Lord onto the ropes. Judge hits a second verdict, and they all lift Dark Lord over the top rope. It took all 5 of them, but they eliminated Dark Lord. Dark Lord has been eliminated. The Carthians' blood boils. They did not best him. Nobody can defeat him, but they did eliminate him. Those remaining slap hands for their teamwork. Shooter dumps Andy and Ultimo over the top rope. He just eliminated the reigning champion, that treacherous old bastard. The fans grill the old-timer. Mr. Andy has been eliminated by newcomer Shooter Landau. The toy maker returns to his workshop with one less collectible. And Ultimo America, too, has been eliminated. The Patriot will not realize the American dream tonight. We are now guaranteed a new Rewind champion. But who will it be? Laughing to himself, Shooter turns around. Oh, fuck. Death Note and Judge look at each other, then him. Shooter tries to bargain with him whilst reaching a hand behind his back. He's got brass knuckles in his tights. He slips them on and swings. Verdict, the Sparta kick cuts him off. He reels into the ropes, which throw him into Death Note. He grants him his dying wish. Burning hammer over the top rope, and Shooter Landau has been eliminated, finishing third in this competition in his first ever match in OSW. The old-timer will have to seek solace in his old friend, Jack. Death Note and Judge lock eyes once more. It's down to them for the Rewind Championship. Death Note ducks down. He tries to lift the Judge to go to sleep. Judge, however, bites his exposed forehead. Blood flows down Death Note's face as he relents. Cutter, your past may bite you. Judge pulls him up. He preps him for the powerbomb. Here comes the restoration. Another amazing image there. Death Note pummels him in the head, though, sending him backwards towards the corner. He somehow hops onto the turnbuckle. Judge spins around. Kiss of death. Death Note nearly goes through him with a double foot stomp. The god of the new world heaves him to his feet. Turn the page, Sister Abigail. No. Judge spins out of it. A headbutt rocks Death Note. He's up against the rope. Judge charges with the verdict Sparta kick. Death Note pulls the bottom rope down. Judge flies over the top rope to the outside. The Judge has been eliminated, and Death Note is your new Rewind champion. Whew. What a match. Beautiful match, Sammy. Well done. Amazing. I have to give a good shout out to Shooter Landell for his first match in OSW, where he's clearly read role plays and looked to understand the style because it's paid off. A great role play by him this week. Very unfortunate not to pick it up. But I'm sure he'll be absolutely fucking delighted. Oh, he's here. Hi, Shooter. I was about to say, I think he'll probably be delighted with the result. Third in a match of this quality is an awesome achievement. Well done to Brian as well. That's your first singles title, isn't it, in OSW? I'm sure you're really happy. Commiserations to Joey, of course. It was always going to be a big ask for you, Joe. A big ask. Such a hard match to defend a championship in. Nothing to be ashamed of in that one. Yeah, I think Shooter's that Brent Kirsch vibe that OSW needs to keep it grounded as well. You need those characters that aren't necessarily supernatural. When you look at Albie Shaw and you look at Shooter Landell, you're looking at characters that are very much based more in our current reality as opposed to the OSW reality, which is not a bad thing because I think you need that. You know, you do need that. But yeah, sort of a Hill Brent Cash, maybe a bit different. I wouldn't really say they're anywhere near the same and such, but they do live in a more realistic world. I hope you enjoyed that match. Well done to the winners. But we're going somewhere else now. Any ideas where we're going, guys? Where do you think we might be headed? Do you think we might be on a journey? Okay. Welcome to another old school rewind on the 6-year anniversary of old school wrestling's creation. We are heading into a match between Lee Crowley and the Scarecrow. This is the Ring King final. Ring King is a competition here. We've even had 32 participants in this before. It's normally 16. It's basically King of the Ring, but we call it Ring King. This is a final between an established veteran in the Scarecrow, who has been a monster on the roster since the very first show, and Lee Crowley, who has, on this show alone, made massive steps into that sort of main event scene. It is Lee Crowley versus the Scarecrow. It's from Ring King 3 on November 27th. 2017. This is a live show, I believe. You can find this on fast_lane86's channel somewhere. Hopefully it's still there. If it's not, you can go back and read it on the website in the Lost Tapes. Remember, this is a highlight. It may be slightly bitty, if I recall, though some of these were difficult to put together without having thousands of words. So the arena is suddenly plunged into darkness as the flight of the crows ominously blares. Smoke fills the entranceway, and when it finally clears, the Scarecrow is stood, arms spread wide and his head bowed. He slowly lifts his head up to face us, grinning from ear to ear. He walks towards the ring, pulling himself up onto the ring apron and stepping over the top rope. Here we are, we're skipping to a different part of the highlight. Lee wisely lands on his knees, grabbing his throat in agony as the ominous Scarecrow stalks him from behind. He crawls towards the entrance on his hands and knees, turning around to a massive right-handed punch that sends him prone. The former world champion grabs him, pulling him to his feet, and then he throws him straight through the metal taproom doors into the backstage area. Crowley hits the deck and rolls into some nearby trash cans. The Scarecrow walks over, only he's kicked hard in the knee, dropping him down a level. Crowley gets back to his feet, grabbing a trash can and walloping him over the head with it. Crow storms after him, grabbing him as he gets back up and once again gripping that barbed wire necklace that Crowley wears. You can see it in the picture just there. He turns, spinning him around and launching him straight through a fucking wall. Lee Crowley was thrown straight through a fucking wall by his necklace. The camera peers through the gap, looking at Lee, who's unconscious on the floor, surrounded by debris. The Scarecrow, meanwhile, steps to the side, looking through the glass window. But he's not there. Crowley's gone. What the fuck? Suddenly, the window shatters and a steel chair drives at the head of the fucking Scarecrow, taking him out. We go to darkness, and then we're back later at ringside. Once again, when we plunge in the darkness, the family appear. For those who don't know the family, DTR, Jensen Cuss, Max Billion, they're the family. Think Resident Evil and you'll get an idea. Stood over Lee Crowley, a DTR, Jensen Cuss, and Max Million, shielding him from the Scarecrow. The monster pulls himself back into the ring apron and enters the ring. Cusson runs at him first, being dropped with a massive uppercut. Million is next, attacking from a different side and catching him off guard. A flurry of right hands beats the Scarecrow into the corner. Cusson is quickly back up, joining his brother in his violent attack. The family get back to their feet, meeting the fallen Scarecrow. They seem to have an idea here. They pull him back to his feet, they lift him up and into a quadruple powerbomb. They slowly get back to their feet. Exhaustion has well and truly set in for both of them. Crowley stumbles into the corner and picks up his crowbar, which he calls Crowley Jr. And there stands the Scarecrow. He slaps his hand around his throat. Bye-bye, birdie. He's looking for the chokeslam, but Crowley somehow drops down behind, jamming the crowbar into the mouth of the Scarecrow with both hands, hitting his hideous laughter, which is a backstabber, with the crowbar between his teeth. He covers 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Lee Crowley defeats the Scarecrow, having beaten Ordell Terminus, Simon Sane, Bobby Neptune, and Solomon Rhodes on his way to the final. Lee Crowley becomes your Ring King 2017. It was a beautiful match, honestly. If you can go back and read that in full. The highlights don't do it justice, but we're just reliving nostalgia on the show here tonight as we go through these former matches. You know, the goal with the matches isn't to let you know everything, it's just to give you an idea of what has come before. So do have a look. The match is a really, really good match. We now move on to a segment between Albie Shaw, Leah Lincoln, and Shooter Landau called Equalizer. So Albert Shaw, Blood Money's newest muscle, walks the halls, a look of disdain on his face as he stalks around, coming upon exactly what he wants to see. Shooter Landau. Hey, you there. Shaw speaks with a smile, walking into the locker room where Shooter currently sat. Dripping with sleaze, he places a hand on Shooter's shoulder, the veteran brushing it off and turning to face Albert, cracking his knuckles. Hands off. You looking to make this an easy payday for me? She ain't got much, but it's enough to bust your jaw. Albert holds a hand up, stopping Shooter as he reaches into his pocket, pulling out a large wad of bills. What if I told you I could pay you more to take her down? Landau looks at money for a moment, only pulled out of his inner thoughts by the sound of footsteps. Leah Lincoln. Just like that? You're going to take this man's money and turn your back on our deal? The Swamp Witch sneers at the Shooter, the last carny frowning. Our deal had you paying me on a case-by-case basis, and money is money. Shaw chuckles, slapping his hand on the Shooter's shoulder again. That's what I like to hear. So we got a deal? Shooter looks between Leah and Shaw for a moment, glancing back at the chair he was sitting on. Sure. And then with that, nails Leah with a chair shot. The chair shot is quick and to the point. Leah drops to the floor and Shooter turns to Shaw. Brass knuckles to the jaw, and Shooter hits the floor as well. Shaw stands over them, a content look on his face. Well, that was easier than I thought. Money really is the great equalizer, isn't it? With that, Albert confidently walks out of the room, barely even taking the courtesy to step over Leah on the way out. This is going to be a good match, I think, at Fists of Fury. This is clearly going down the road of triple threat, and I think it's going to be a good battle between these three. All three of them are very new to OSW. I think it's going to be a very good match for all of them. Definitely a good route to the crown. Definitely was. All right. We are heading into another segment with the Judge and Reaper called Standoff. Rain. The sound of water slamming into the pavement is almost deafening. the cold night air enough to penetrate even the thickest of coats. But for the being in our view, it simply pelts off his armour. The judge walks through the rain, visibly on edge as he goes through back alleys. Ever since last week, he's been on guard, refusing to stay one place for too long. Bang! Dust kicks up from the nearby wall, a chunk of brick turned to powder as a bullet cracks into the wall itself. Judge ducks behind the nearby wall, only for another bullet to fly and crack into the cement near his feet. Judge, get back here and take your harvest in like a man. The voice of the Reaper booms over the rain. Adam Rook has found his mark. With a sneer on his face, he cocks his shotgun, ejecting shells, landing silently amid the rainfall as he approaches the judge. You're making a mistake. Trying to kill me will only make your life harder. Bang, bang, bang. A hail of pellets fly towards Judge's hiding spot. The law, forced to try and run as buckshot pelts off part of his armour. Minuscule dents line his right arm as he makes a run for it. I'm tired of waiting. I know two things. Monty got my wife killed, and you fucked up your job. Once I'm done with you, he'll be next. Reaper goes to reload, allowing us to see one very important thing about the new ammo he's loading. Slugs. Judge rounds a corner, finding nothing but a dead end. With nowhere to run, he draws his axe, turning around to another bang. Ping! Judge flies backwards, skidding on the pavement, a bullet lodged in the front of his armour. Reaper walks forward, levelling his gun at Judge's head. Tough armour, huh? Let's see how you take this shit point blank. Judge swings his axe. It buries itself in Reaper's shoulder. He kicks Reaper into a wall, yanking his axe from the harvester. Blood spatters the wall, washing into the street from the rain. Judge doesn't stay around, however. He takes his leave, walking away from Reaper as he grips his wound, his shotgun tossed out of reach. This ain't over, Judge. I'm gonna find you. I will always fucking find you. I know, the judge replies as we cut. Yeah, Crowley was a really cool character. There's a lot of them though, between Crowley, Brent Kirsch, Scarecrow. There's so much. Scarecrow and Brent Kirsch is a story. If you miss out on it, you definitely want to see again for sure. Well, guys, it's that time again. Okay, so another old school rewind, and we're taking you back to Pandemonium 3 on April 24th, 2017. Mike Lane is the OSW champion. He is a fantastic OSW champion. We're talking really, really good reigns, really long reigns, a defending champion. A very impressive champion, and Tommy Hawk had won Invasion. Now, Invasion is a competition that you'll see again soon. It does happen once a year, in which 6 people fight for an Invasion briefcase in what is known as an Invasion match. The match starts with 2 people, and then every few minutes another person invades until all 6 are in the ring, or if the case is won before that, then the case is won and the match is over. That person then has a year to invade on the champion at their choice. They can invade during any show, weekly show, live show, whatever they want. OOC, the conditions of this are simple. If they're going to invade on a champion one week, they have to do it before a roleplay is posted. They have to do it especially before the champion has posted their roleplay. They can't read a champion's roleplay for a week and then decide they're going to do it. They have to do it before that, which makes it very tactical. If you're going to invade, then you're going to have to think about who that person's facing and whether or not it's worth invading. You're going to have to try and be very, very careful. This match, oh, that's nice to know. So, Rob, this was the match that got Rob to apply to OSW. Here it is. Tommy Hawk invading on Mike Lane. Remember, these are highlights. If you'd like to go back and have a look at the match from Pandemonium 3, you can find that in the old tape. So Tommy Hawk makes a slow, calculated walk towards the ring. He is gunning for the OSW champion. He hands the briefcase to the referee, and he's invading right now at Pandemonium, which in itself contains a 20-person rumble, with the winner getting a world championship opportunity. Mike Lane, having just finished his match, how he can even get back to his feet is beyond us, but he does, and he's not going to be easily beaten tonight. Hawk backs him into the ropes and sends him across the ring again, but Mike ducks under the swinging clothesline attempt and nails a shadow kick out of absolutely nowhere. A shadow kick to the jaw of Tommy Hawk. He covers, but Tommy kicks out. Mike rolls away, resting against the bottom rope for a moment. He's just fought one match and defended his title and won. He's now got to fight another. He looks to the outside where his wife is watching with his daughter. He has to get up and do it. He has to retain this title. Mike stands up, grabbing Tommy as he follows, but Hawk busts out with both arms, kicking the champion low. He pulls him in close and nails the red arrow, the falcon arrow. The leg is hooked, but once again, Mike Lane kicked out. Tommy doesn't hesitate. When he gets back to his feet, he pulls a tomahawk from behind his back and lines his hands up ready. The fans are chanting his name as the shadow gets back to his feet as well. The scalp straight through Mike Lane. That is I believe it was a spinning discus, I think it's a spinning discus. I might be wrong. He covers once again, but Mike Lane kicks out. Yeah, discus chop. That's what I thought it was. Mike somehow drops down from behind him. He spins Hawk and into a degeneration, which is a T-bone suplex to end all T-bone suplexes. Lane is back to his feet, begging Hawk to meet him there. He's waving him up, screaming at him. Hawk listens. Slowly but surely, the Spirit Walker stands and shadow fucking kick. He kicks his fucking head off with a super kick. Mike Lane is going to retain his world championship. He covers 1, 2, and 3. Mike Lane has done it. Or has he? Because Tommy Hawk has a leg on the bottom rope. The world champion, though, suddenly ducks under a wayward right, grabbing Tommy's leg and snatching it out from underneath him. He suckered him in. Mike Lane suckered him in. He rolls through STF. It's locked in tight on the invasion winner. Tommy Hawk is in the middle of the ring, and by God, he has no choice but to tap out. It's over. But he somehow pulls himself to the ropes. Tommy rolls him back into the ring and hops onto the ring apron. Mike is there to meet him. He lifts him up and over with a suplex, and Tommy drops down from behind. The world champion turns to meet him. The scalp almost takes his fucking head off, and he covers 1, 2, 3. Tommy Hawk invades on Mike Lane at Pandemonium and becomes the new OSW champion. And there's a funny story about this, because Mike Lane, as he does now, ran 2 characters back then. He ran Mike Lane, the OSW champion, and Solomon Rhodes. Well, at Pandemonium, as it happened, he could only be in Pandemonium if he didn't retain his title. He lost his title to Tommy Hawk as Mike Lane, and then won Pandemonium as Solomon Rhodes. His role play as Solomon would not have counted if he would have beaten Tommy Hawk. Another fun story, I believe, to add to that, is that at Ring of Dreams, when it was Solomon Rhodes versus Tommy Hawk actually then had to face a Mike Lane character again, and it was Solomon Rhodes, and this time I believe he actually did retain. So yes, if Tommy hadn't invaded, then Cal would have won Pandemonium, and it would have been a different Ring of Dreams match entirely. So yeah, Connor did Mike twice, I think, in the 2 events, but with but Mike had both of his characters in that position, which is really interesting. Hope you enjoy these little trips down memory lane, guys. I understand that a lot of you newer handlers aren't going to understand these, and obviously they're in highlight format, so you're probably going to be a bit lost. This is definitely, no offense to you, of course. We're really glad to have you, but this is definitely for those that were here to see him. Just to spark that that memories in those guys that were here at the time. I remember Dawson's reaction to beating Scarecrow at Ring King, and it was insane. I remember Mike Lane's reaction to the invasion and to every near fall. This match, by the way, if you read it in full from Pandemonium 3, it's such an amazing match. I'm not meaning to sound cocky, I wrote it, but it is still an amazing match. I'm sure they'll tell you in the chat. It had so many false finishes that I think Mike Lane almost had a heart attack by the time he got to the end of reading it. It was that kind of quality, and it was a really Really fun match. Yeah, so what other matches do you think we're going to see, guys? I can tell you that there are 3 more. There are 3 more matches to show tonight on that, and I think there's 2 or 3 matches from the main card as well. So Dawson thinks one's going to be Lux Bellator versus Solomon. Zach thinks we might see a Jensen Cussen versus Jacob Phoenix match on the card. Gray thinks Ash might be in one. Red River Jack versus Mike Lane. DTR and Cussen. All right, well, there's a lot. But first, we're moving into a segment called False Courage between Rune and Ultimo America. Ultimo America is recovering after that brutal battle royal. He's talking to the Forever Friends. Why did I do it, guys? Why did you do what, B? Why did I try to attack Rune without any help? Maybe he's right, maybe I'm just pathetic. He's not right and you know it. You fight for things you love, which is why we love you. You defended us once, and then defended our country. You've always been the warrior. Yeah, against fake monsters, Dewey, not against real ones like him. That was stupid of me last week, and you know it. At least when he hurt you guys, I was trying to protect you. Last week, that was just me running on false courage, thinking because I got him once, I could get him again. Am I wrong, Dewey? No. You're not wrong, but that doesn't mean you're right. You did the right thing, just at the wrong time. Do it with us next time. We'll get a second chance down the road, won't we, B? Yeah, we will. Won't we, Miles? Indeed, my old chap. Chunk. You know always I'm up for seconds. Is that right? It's Rune with the barbed wire baseball bat. Me too, little pig. Thud. Headbutt from Rune to Chunky Moses. Thwack. Gut shot to Dewey. Thwack. Shot to the back of Miles. Come on. Isn't this when you actually fight America? Isn't this when you use all your might to protect countries that say they're your ally but never really help you? It's always you bailing them out. Never the other way around, right? Let's see what happens this time. He swings at Ultimo, but Ultimo ducks, nailing a dropkick. But no, Rune dodges and hits him with the bat mid-air. Man, it's easy discarding of you children. You should never came to the slaughterhouse. The only one that belongs here is Miles Rabbit, but he's been alive too long. Let's change that. Rune grabs Miles' hat and squeezes it. It's in here this time, you magical idiot. Rune sets the hat down so Dave can't escape. He raises the bat up, but low blow by Miles stops him from squishing poor Dave the rabbit. Leave Dave alone. He's our forever furry friend. Like Chris. Rune is down, but he's slowly trying to get up. Run. Forever friends run away and out of sight as quickly as they can. It's an interesting story with these guys. Might a bit off more than they can chew with Rune, I think. Dave is an interesting thing. I love Dave. I've got plans for that. It's fantastic. No one's furry shaming Chris. Alright, guys. On to another segment now. This one is called Fatherhood, and it has Luke Storm and Ashley J. Williams. Recorded earlier. Luke Storm takes a risk. He has to. It's been weeks since he last saw his daughter Scarlett, and he simply can't take no more. When we find him, he's in a secluded location in which doubles as a safe house. It's a vacation home far away from the hustle and bustle. Scarlett is on a swing being pushed back and forth by Storm when he notices a figure walking up the driveway. It's Ashley J. Williams. The king approaches casually, stopping just short of Scarlett's reach as she swings up into the air. How did you find me? Luke queries as he continues to push his daughter. I followed you, Ash admits. It's a bit dangerous, huh? If I could have followed you, so could have Sandman. After your Einstein of a son blew up his dungeon, I've lost all hope of avenging my brother and finding that son of a bitch. If he finds me, then he finds me. Yeah, about that, Ash says with a shrug. I need you to stay away from my boy. He's determined to fight you a fist of rage, and I think we both know how that plays out. Luke smiles. I'd love to, but you should have disciplined your kid a long time ago. I suppose you were too busy fighting Matthew Cordes to raise him right, because what he did was reprehensible. Williams takes one look at Scarlett and tries to remain calm. I'm going to save your daughter the sight of watching her daddy pick up his teeth and forget you said that. You make another remark about my boy, and I'm going to remodel your pretty face with my boomstick paintbrush. That makes the former world champion laugh. He stops pushing Scarlett and walks over to meet Williams, and they go nose to nose. If you threaten me again, I'll take that bionic arm and put you in your very own movie, Storm says whilst removing his glasses. A bionic fisting. The tension is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. I just want you to do the right thing and remember you're a father, Storm, just like me. I'm just trying to protect my kid. Luke walks away, shaking his head. He goes back to pushing his daughter on the swing. It's too little, too late. If Jesse wants a fight, then at 4, I'll give him one. And with that, we cut. I'm glad you like it, Mike. When I wrote bionic fisting and obviously tied it into a movie, which is Storm's gimmick, I thought you'd love it. I've not had so much fun writing shit talk as I have had in this story with Ash and Luke. Every time I write Ashley Williams, I try to put a line in there, like with the lipstick line last week and the boomstick paintbrush this week. I really love both those characters. They are just so insanely cool, you know? So insanely cool. I'm very lucky to have those two to write for, I tell you, because they are such cool characters. And obviously, the new attitude of Luke Storm makes it easier now to do this. And Ash Williams just has that attitude anyway, so you kind of get away with it. But now, we are moving into another match. Oh yeah, it'll be a really good tag team. Well guys, it is now the VHS Championship. It's Zero, the VHS champion, taking on Darby Sorrow in I think a match that was pegged by a lot of people as the one they wanted to see. So let's get on to it. In this interstable battle, Zero of Blood Money Inc. defends the VHS Championship he won at Wrestle Heroes against Dead or Alive's immortal Darby Sorrow. Now let's also go back to Wrestle Heroes, because so far Mr. Andy, Red Wing, and Monty Straight won their championships at Wrestle Heroes. Monty Straight and Red Wing have lost theirs, and Mr. Andy has lost his. Can Zero retain, or will Darby Sorrow make that a clean sweep for championship defeats at Wrestling Gold? The bell sounds and we're underway with these two circling each other. The animosity